Are you ready? Are you
ready.
ready?
I'm still jealous that you get the frame and I don't.
The gay frame?
They're discriminating against me.
How dare you? Yeah, I have, for those listening, hi, welcome to Rachel Uncensored.
We're already off to a really great start.
I really need to do a fucking intro for this shit because it just starts off. There's no starting point to any of this. It's just we just start talking and you just have to catch up.
Right.
Hi.
We've already been talking for like 10 minutes before we press record.
We've been talking for 25 minutes. What are you talking about? It's been
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie. Hi, welcome to Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can see an uncensored version of me. I'm sitting down with Emily Broffice and we are drinking water because it's Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. Emily was the first guest on Rachel Uncensored, and I think like one of the favorites. And then yay! And then she is now my co-host on All Things Internet, which is other podcast I have, which happens every single Monday. But there's a lot of things that we can't talk about on Rachel Uncensored not Rachel Uncensored, on All Things Internet.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about them today here on Rachel Uncensored. A lot of it is just about being gay.
Yeah.
Emily was reading through comments and she's like, people have a lot of gay questions. I'm like, that's not what that podcast is about. But she's like, Can we do a gay episode of Rachel Uncensored? I call being the co-host, the guest. And I was like,
I called dibs.
You called dibs on this. She's like, I'm gay.
I'm gay, pick me.
You're a pick me gay. Anyway, hi, Emily.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to change my bio.
How you doing?
Good. Little sleep, but thriving.
Aren't we all? Is that not every human today? Is that not every gay today?
Yeah.
A little sleep, but thriving. All right. So you wrote down a bunch of questions and sent them to me. So it looks like I'm organized, but really it's you. Do you want to just hop into them? You want to just go?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Fine. Sounds good. Number 1, most sexual encounter. Emily, go for it.
I think you read that wrong.
Most awkward sexual encounter. What did I say?
Most sexual encounter.
I'm asleep.
There's this one time with like 20 girls. That was my most sexual.
What was your most I, too, am a thriving sleepless gay at the moment. So
yeah.
I'm
you don't drink coffee either, right?
Fuck you. I drink more coffee than anyone on the planet. I have like 6 cups a day.
I didn't know that about you.
I brush my teeth 6 times a day because I brush my teeth after every cup of coffee because I don't want my breath to smell like coffee or else my girlfriend won't she'd kiss me, but I don't want her to smell coffee breath because she doesn't drink coffee. And also I don't want my teeth to be stained.
Yeah.
What is your most awkward sexual... God damn me. What is your most awkward sexual encounter?
I don't like that I have to go first. You go first. I called dibs on going second.
I've had no awkward ones with my girlfriend because she's perfect. Does it have to be like in the... Why did I pick this? I don't want to answer this either.
All right. We need to restart. Welcome to Rachel Uncensored. Yeah. Okay. I'll take one for the team.
I'm just going to say, I don't have any like... I don't want to talk about it.
That's fair. Okay.
I'll say one time there was vomit and one time there was a piece of poop. And that's all I'm saying.
And that's the episode, folks. Thank you for joining us. When we stop recording, I'm gonna need that story.
They were 2 separate occasions.
Wow. Okay.
My thing is, I don't like to divulge other people's private information.
Yeah.
So I go don't think I should tell the stories because they're involving another human being.
What if you use gender neutral terms?
No, because I think the majority of people know my girlfriend is the only female I've been with.
Well, now they do. All right.
There you go.
I know. I'm like trying to think. Ooh, I mean, probably. Yeah, because I never had anything like awkward happen with women, except like probably the first time. It's always the men.
It's always the men.
But yeah, again, I don't want to like go into that because ew. But yeah, it was probably like my first time when I was like with a woman. Like,
did anything awkward happen, or did you just feel awkward?
I started laughing.
Emily! You can't laugh at someone doing sexual things to you when you ask and I'm enjoying it.
Here's the thing. So she was very experienced, and obviously I was not, because it
was your first.
Believed, that I was heterosexual up until, a week previously. And so things were happening, and like a polite person, it was my turn to switch off. And literally I was like, I tried to adapt your policy of like fake it till you make it.
Yeah, it's a great policy to have.
Pretend.
That's what I did.
So I was like,
and
all
then
right.
I was never awkward.
Fine. Some of us can't say the same. And so I was like, I'm just going to be confident, and like, I know what I like, so I'm just going to transfer that over and like hope it works. And then literally before anything even happened, I bust out laughing, and thankfully she was very cool about it, and like she was laughing too, and she was like, I know it's weird, and like, she was very kind about it. But I think that was probably the highlight of my most awkward sexual encounter. Well, that's just me laughing.
That's nice for you that's your most awkward sexual encounter, is that you giggled.
Well, with women.
Men's a different story.
Yeah.
Always. All right. We're going to move past this because, yeah. All right. Someone asked, looking back on your life, should you have realized you were gay sooner?
Yep.
Yes. Oh my God.
Always yes.
Have you seen me? Did you see me? I was the gayest person that's ever existed. My favorite place to shop was Home Depot.
Oh my God. Mine is like, looking back in my life now, and I talked a little bit about this on All Things Internet, but looking back in my life, I used to have these obsessions with girls my age and older, and I thought it was because I was jealous of them, or I thought it was like I wanted to be like them, but I was obsessed with them. Like, I would think about them 24/7. I thought they were so cool.
Yes.
Like, just whatever. But now looking back on that, I realized those were crushes.
Yes,
because I had no idea.
So you can like Home Depot and still be straight if you want. But what it truly was I would get girl crushes, and then I would always just be like, oh, it's just I want to be their best friend. I want to be like them.
Right.
They're really cool. There's just something about them that's like really like just drawing me towards them as a person. And then it really should have clicked when in college I was like, oh, but what if we just like made out for a minute?
My freshman year, I used to make out with girls all the time, and in my head I'd be like, oh, I'm not gay, like this is just what girls do when they get drunk. Yes! And now looking back on it, I'm like,
that's exactly what I said in college. Like, I made out. There was a few times I'd get drunk and I made out with a few girls, but it was very like, this is just what girls do because guys suck, and like we just want to make out with someone, but like guys are scary.
I'm just so drunk. Yeah. And it was so confusing growing up because like, I can't even remember what grade I was in when Titanic came out, but this is like my pinnacle story. Is basically Titanic had just been released. Everyone in my class was obsessed with Jack Dawson, so Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Like, they had posters of him hung in like their bedroom. They were buying biographies about him, like just anything they could do to be obsessed with him. Meanwhile, like, I sat there and I couldn't understand it. Like, I would listen to my friends talk about how cute he was, and like objectively I could look at him and be like, okay, yeah, like he's symmetrical, like that's nice.
Yeah, I'd be like, that is an attractive person. I am not attracted to him.
but I'd be like, what about that boob scene when he's drawing her? Come on, ladies, what about that? Like, I should have realized.
I think what is so hard is in our society, men, the second you have any inkling, like any cuddling your guy friend or whatever, people are toxic and are like, that's gay, bro. But for women, we're raised that cuddling and holding hands and like just whatever, sleeping in the same bed together is totally normal, and like being obsessed with your best friend is totally normal, and girls kiss girls for the attention of men, but you just in your head you're like, girls kiss girls. I'm a girl. I kiss girl. Yes. No gay. Kiss girl. Yes.
No gay here.
And so I think if it weren't as socially acceptable to be that loving towards another girl, you would realize you were gay faster, because like that's how guys.
I was gonna say, maybe if it was more socially acceptable for men to be that way,
like, I think it would be harder for them to realize that they were gay. That's what I'm saying. Is like the reason I think it takes women so much longer is, one, we don't have a little penis that goes happy, not happy, happy, not happy, but it's so socially acceptable for girls to be so loving that it's hard for us to find the line sometimes if we're not paying attention between like best friend and girl crush or actual crush.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing that girls are so loving at all.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think that was why it was so hard for me, was because like, this is what best friends do. This is what girls do. This is totally fine for girls to do that are straight. And then like, I
have almost the opposite reaction where I'm like, it made it easier for me because this was acceptable.
Oh no, it was
to make out with girls for fun. Like, it was very easy for me to do it and then be like, oh shit. Like,
well, see, that's the thing, is I made out with girls and then I was like, best friends.
Yeah. I mean, the girls that like I hooked up with freshman year, like, nothing clicked. And then it was this one girl and I kissed her for the first time. And in my head, literally, I was like, holy shit, I have never even for a millisecond felt the way about my boyfriend at the time that I do about this woman.
Yeah.
And it was like, poof.
Yeah. Mine, I literally was just watching TikToks and then finally I was like, oh, that was hot. I want to have sex with her. Oh, okay. I'm gay. I was like, it was, I don't know. I don't know why it clicked when it did. It wasn't like anything different. I've seen hot women my whole life. I've had attractions to them and justified it. But there was one moment on one TikTok where I was like, oh, that's it.
Right.
It clicked.
Right.
I don't know why. And it hasn't unclicked since.
Yeah.
It clicked and it's locked in gear.
Right. Because I think it's like, if like back when we thought we were heterosexual, it's not like every man we saw we were like, oh God, I love them and they're so hot and I want to date them. It like takes a very specific person that fit into, you know, what we were looking for. And so it's the same thing with women. We can make out with like 50 women, but like it's the one that like fits what we want, that we are very attracted to, that like allows that
spark to go off.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, but I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. I should have realized earlier, but because of society, which I love the way it is, that we are able to women are allowed to be very cuddly and loving towards women. I think that made it harder for me to realize. But I don't think it should stop. I feel like people should always be loving on each other, and I have no issues with it. But that's all.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it a lot and I cannot answer that question about myself, like why it took me so long to figure it out, because I had very accepting hippie parents that love everyone and everything. And like, also my older sister came out as queer back when it was like still considered a little like unacceptable, you know, by like our town standards. She came out as queer and was like dating women in high school. And I watched her go through that, and like my parents were fine and accepted, and like we talked about it and it was open. And so like, I don't know why it took me so fucking long, like another 10 years after that, another 10 years after that, to like look at myself and be like, oh shit, I am too.
When I did realize that I was gay, there was no hesitation to come out to my family. Like I was like, whatever.
Right.
I knew no one would care. I was
Right.
I was the first person in my family to come out, but it wasn't like a big deal. I wasn't like, oh no, how's it going to be handled? I was just like,
Right.
hey. And everyone's like, yeah.
It just literally did not click until
that's-
that one moment.
I wasn't trying to hide it. I wasn't trying to lie to
Right.
myself. It was a click moment. There was a genuine moment.
That's why everyone should experiment. Everyone.
Yes, but I had made out with girls and it still didn't click.
Well, that's why you have to keep experimenting.
Oh, just keep going.
Just keep going until everyone is gay. That's my advice for today.
All right, that's fine. That's my advice. Just everyone keep making out with the same sex until you're gay.
That's my gay agenda. Oh my God, Fox News is going to pick up this clip and be like, the gay agenda, it's real.
Follow Rachel Uncensored.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Nah.
All right.
I mean, yeah, should we have realized sooner? Yes. But I don't think there was a way to have made us realize sooner. I genuinely don't.
Yeah.
We both had
It's not a should. It's a we could have. Potentially,
have.
maybe.
Everyone else
but,
realized before us. Everyone else in our families.
My older sister and my these two girls that I grew up with that I often refer to as my older and younger sister, they were calling me in their phone, my name was Leslie since I was 12 years old. They have always called me a lesbian. And so then when I told them, because I called up my little sister first, and I was just like, oh hey, so I broke up with boyfriend, and I was like, because I made out with this girl and I think I'm gay and I'm gonna take her on a date next week. And she was just like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was like, she was like, we know, we've known.
They've all known.
Damn it, why didn't you tell me?
See, I had people constantly telling me. I think what might have happened as well, we'll never know. We will never know. I think I have fought it so much because when you tell someone they're gay and they aren't ready to accept it yet or come out, that is not going to help anything. And I think a lot of that was happening to me. When people were like, you're so gay, you're a lesbian. Does she get off gay vibes? That was like, no, I am I didn't know yet. And I was annoyed that people were putting an identity on me that I hadn't myself confirmed or come to a realization or just didn't want at that moment. And so I think I fought harder to be straight, quote unquote. And maybe that is a reason that it didn't click for so long. I don't know. But
yeah, that's not cool. I mean, you can always help people you're close with explore their sexuality by being having open discussions about it. But straight up going to someone and being like, you're so gay, you just need to admit it. You're just pushing them back in the closet for a while.
Yeah, because they're going to fight you. They're going to be annoyed with it.
Right.
And you might, a conversation of have you ever thought about being gay? Have you ever thought about being bi? And then they'd be like, no, I'm not. I'd be like, okay. I just sometimes have thought about it.
Yeah. Move on. Yeah, it's no one's place to tell someone else what they are or are not. It's just, I know. Come on.
I also had the entire internet telling me I was gay, and wasn't fun to deal with. But I'm fine with it now. All right, before we move on to the next question, let's check to see if we have a sponsor for today. Sponsor! Best Fiends. Best Fiends is our sponsor for today. Best Fiends is one of my favorite mobile puzzle games where each level is a new puzzle that you have to solve with the help of some cute little friends you collect along the way. I personally find myself playing Best Fiends when I have a few minutes to spare and need to fill them with something because I don't like doing nothing. I have to always be doing something, and Best Fiends is there for me in those moments. This game is super easy to pick up on right away, and you can easily play when you only have a few minutes or when you have a lot of time and you can just lose yourself and just be happy in complete bliss. Each level, you team up with a friend to solve the puzzle, and every friend has a different strength, so you have to choose the right combination of friends at each level, which is a huge part of the strategy on how to win the game. And the more you play, the bigger your friends get and the more you collect. New characters are added all the time, and there are tons of fun events where you can win in-game rewards. And with thousands of levels, you can literally play as long as you want and never get bored. Trust me on that. I've been playing for many, many years now. So if you want to play, download Best Fiends free today on the Apple App Store or Google Play. That is friends without the R. Best Fiends. We did. It was best fiends. Okay. How is being in a gay relationship different from a straight one? Well, you have more orgasms.
If you didn't just take the words right out of my mouth. I'm sure for our heterosexual listeners who have a very healthy sex life, I'm sure you are thriving.
Imagine coming every time you have sex.
Multiple times.
Oh, it's so sad to hear my straight friends talk about their sex life.
Yeah.
I buy them all vibrators.
Yep. I'm sure there are some people out there that are straight that have great sex, but
nope.
Bestie, I hate to break it to you.
You may have great, but ain't the best.
Mm-mm.
And just being with someone who understands and is willing to listen.
Yes.
I mean, I think, hold on, my glasses and my headphones. Okay. It's like dating your best friend. Like, they understand all of, like, as a woman, they would understand all the woman things that you have to go through. And, like, periods aren't gross. And it's like, you just know each other's cycles, and they understand.
You sync up.
You sync up, and you understand the PMS, and you understand when it's like, you understand everything about them because you have the same kind of experiences in life.
Right.
And it's a lot. So you're more understood. And I mean, also each person varies. Like, there's toxic women out there. There are toxic men out there. So you're obviously not every gay relationship is perfect or better.
Right.
But mine is.
Mine was. When I started, I mean, I dated like one not so great woman, so she doesn't count. But the rest of them, when I started dating women, that was the first time ever in my dating history that I felt validated and seen. And not like I was being over dramatic or too much or anything that the men in my life had constantly told me. Like, I felt like with the men, my emotions were constantly belittled.
Yes.
And like written off as, oh, you're just being an emotional woman, or, oh my God, are you about to get your period? Like the very stereotypical, like, douchey stuff that men say when they don't want to own up to their own actions, or they just don't want to comfort someone. And then when I was with women, it took me a long time to reverse that thinking of, I'm not too much, and like, I'm not a burden, and I can sit here and express my feelings, and my partner will listen and validate and make me feel better. Yeah. And it was mind blowing.
Yeah. And I'm sure with men dating men, they feel that they're more understood as well, just because they have the same experiences and the same types of emotions and all that stuff. So we're not saying like men are the worst in this moment. We're saying dating someone the same gender as you, it's easier to be understood, for them to understand you. Yeah. Because
with all of these questions, everyone has to take it with a grain of salt, knowing that we don't mean everyone, every straight relationship, every man, every straight woman. No. These are just our experiences and what we have found to be true.
Yes. And I'm happy.
Me too.
That is my experience. Yeah. I have very much. Well, also, like, I've dated a few guys, but my high school boyfriend was a party asshole. He was an asshole. He wanted to be a cool dude. He was just like, he's great now. We've mended things. But back then, he's even apologized to me at our 10-year high school reunion. Wow. He found me and apologized. He's like, I was an asshole. And I was like, it's so cool, bro. We all made mistakes, whatever. And he was like, no, I was an asshole. And I was like, oh, thank you for saying that. It kind of validated me. He is married to a beautiful woman, and they live in New Zealand now, and they're great. He's fine now. But he was an asshole. And then in college, I tried to date, and guys were assholes. And I went on dating sites, and I just, like, I didn't click with anyone, one, because I was gay. But I never felt seen, heard, understood, whatever I was dealing with. Also, when I was in the dating pool with guys, it was, a really long time ago, 10 years ago. And so sexism and misogynism was like feminism. What, like, people laughed at feminism. They still do now, but like there are more understanding guys and feminist guys now. And back then it was, but when I was a psychology major, every guy I knew made fun of me because they thought therapy was a lie and it was stupid and it didn't make sense. And now everyone's like pro therapy and I'm so for it.
Right.
But that when I was dating, trying to like go on dates with guys, that's what I was dealing with. I'm like,
that's nasty.
So my experiences with men were not the best with dating, but women, I've had no sadness.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Someone asked, what's the downside to being gay?
Society.
Yeah, the homophobia.
Having everything be heteronormative constantly. Like when my ex and I were planning our wedding, every like form we got, except a few vendors, but the majority of forms we got, or like, I don't know, everything was like bride and groom. Hated that. Like it makes me again feel like I'm a burden. Like I'm a burden because I don't fit into your little category.
And you don't, you're a people pleaser. You probably didn't want to make them feel uncomfortable, but have to go through the bride and bride.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yes.
Right. We even had a wedding vendor that wouldn't work with us, and this was a company that I had my eye on since I was like 15 years old because I was obsessed. They were a videography company for weddings.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with them. Like would watch their videos religiously. Like would sob at them every single time. And I knew when I had my wedding, I wanted to hire them, and they would not work with us because we were a same-sex couple. So that sucks. Homophobia sucks, and it's very much alive and well.
It is. I've gotten like a few gay slurs online. Luckily, the internet's been very, very, very kind to me. In person, I've gotten slurs. Like I've had someone just call me a bitch ass lesbian dyke. I was like, what the?
Oh, you get more pussy than he does. So
yeah, I do. But I like, it is that. It's this society, the homophobia or whatever. One time when I was annoyed, my girlfriend and I were out and we were at a bar and a guy walked past me and he stopped. He looked at me and he goes, "You're really beautiful. Are you here with anyone?" And I looked at my girlfriend. I said, "Yeah, my girlfriend." I said, "No, yeah, her." I pointed to my girlfriend and he was like, "Okay, do you want to have a dance?" And I said, "No, dude, I'm with my girlfriend." And he was like, and he looked at me, he's like, "I can't have a dance?" And then,
nope.
And he walked away and I was like, "No, I'm good. Have a good night." And then my girlfriend was like, "Babe, he didn't realize that I was like your partner, spouse, girlfriend. He thought you were just like, I'm here with my girlfriends." And I was
my girly friends.
I was like, "Dang it! There has to be a better word."
And they were best friends.
And they were roommates.
Yeah.
Just little
I
things.
hate that. I hate constantly having to defend myself. Yeah. And and constantly coming out. So like, on the side, I work at I guess for my full-time job, I work as a virtual assistant, and I just hired, or I took on this new client. And, we were getting to know each other and talking over Zoom. And he said at one point, he was just like, "Oh, so you and your husband moved back from California." And I had to be like, "No, it was actually me and my wife." And I hate that. I hate because I never know how someone's going to react. I never know if they're going to be feel bad about assuming, which I don't care. It does annoy me sometimes, but I'm not going to punish you for assuming I'm straight. I never know if they're going to be homophobic. And thankfully he was very cool about it. And he was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." But it's just the fear of that pause in between someone assuming that you're straight and then you having to correct them or explain in some way where you're just like, "Oh, this could go in so many different directions."
Yeah.
And that fear that settles in. So
that's it. That's the only part of it is society and other people. It's nothing to do with the relationship or the person you're dating.
No. Everything else is amazing.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm reading the questions. I'm finding one that I really want to talk about. Have your outlooks on marriage or having children changed since discovering you were gay?
That was a good one. I liked that one.
Mine is no. Mine is it depends on the person I'm with. So I did not want to marry my last person. And I did not want to have kids with them at all because I knew it was wrong and I knew it was toxic, right. And I knew that I would have been miserable. Now, I would like to get married, and if kids seem like the right thing to do at the time, I'm down for it. But before I was like, hell no, doggy. And I'm like, yes,
Right.
live with me forever.
Yes.
Yes, I keep you, you keep me, I keep you. Don't leave me. You're legally bound by the government.
We looked up the other night. We were like, if one person in the party wants, like, in the partnership wants a divorce and the other person doesn't, can the other person just be like, no, and like refuse? Like, we had to look that up the other day on Google to see like if you.
Yes, they can.
You can refuse to say no to a divorce.
Yeah, you can say no, but then it's more legal mumbo jumbo where you have to file and wait 6 months and do all that shit.
And then the judge has to like force you to sign. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, side story. I've always wanted to get married. I don't know if it's just what's been ingrained in me via society. But I love the idea of like being someone's person and sharing a life with them. And like, I know you can do that without being married, but I like big celebrations and weddings and attention. So
I don't care. See, I don't like it. I don't want a wedding. I don't like that stuff.
No, it'll be so fun.
I would have a party. I just wouldn't have a wedding. I don't feel the need to stand up and walk down the aisle and all that shit.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the last step to do with someone to prove that you want to be with them. And it's like it's a physical sign. It's like that last step. Like, yeah, you could live with anyone, but you are willing to make that sacrifice that if it goes south, you're going to either work harder or it's going to be harder to break up, kind of.
Right.
And it's like the last thing to do with someone. Like, you can't go greater than that. I mean, I guess have kids with them, but like that's the biggest step to show that like you're in love and you want to be with them. That's why. Yeah. And I didn't my view hasn't changed because of being gay. It changed because of who I'm with, and like they'd be a better partner. Yeah.
I have always wanted kids. I've always wanted a buttload of kids. And being gay does not change that. It just makes it harder because now we have to pay to have our children, which sucks. And that's we could do a whole freaking episode on how slimy the sperm industry and the adoption industry is.
Yes.
And like,
it's
how
not
malicious
easy.
It is.
We've talked about that because a lot of couples are like, we don't know how we feel about kids. You know, if it happens, it happens. And for us, it's like, well, we have to plan for it to happen. There's no accident. It's like, okay, we're going to consciously make this decision and we have to go spend thousands upon thousands of dollars
money
to make it happen and go through hormones. And so it's like, you really have to want it. Because there's a lot of times where like I have friends that are like, yeah, we want kids. We're going to pull the goalie and just see what happens. You know, not like actively try, but just see. And it's like, how convenient. That's so nice.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. When I was looking into it, they charge more for more information. So like, if the first step for like having children in like a lesbian relationship is like, we would go to a sperm bank.
Yeah.
And basically you like sit down and you flip through this portfolio and you pay them a base fee. And normally it's like $1,500. But that's just to know what the male donor's race is and like level of education. Then if you pay $2,000, you get to like see their picture. Then if you pay $5,000, you get to have like a medical history. And if you pay $10,000, it's like they keep charging more and more. For more. It's so disgusting how they like monetize off of people not being able to have children.
I am disgusted.
Yeah. So,
because
and then like the adoption industries.
They have the info.
Right. They just won't give it to you unless you pay them for it. It's a mess. And I'm sure not all clinics are like this, but definitely the ones I looked into are.
Wow. I'm outraged.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
So, yeah. So that's the only thing that's changed is now I have to pay for my children instead of just, you know, being able to have sex and have them.
I mean, I know some gay women who just
I know.
Just did it with a dude because and then just, you know.
I'm going to speak for myself. I considered it. There's like this app. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically for people in the queer community. Gay men can get on there and find surrogates that won't charge like the $50,000 to carry their child. And then gay women can get on there, or like anyone in the LGBTQ plus community can get on there and they can find people that are willing to give sperm for free. So like if we give you sperm for free, then like maybe down the line you'll consider being a surrogate for us. Like some people just do it out of the kindness of their hearts. Some people do it as like a trading system.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. So I considered that for a while, but I'm so scared of like potential legal ramifications. Like what if someone gives me a baggie of their sperm and then like 12 years down the road they're like, oh, I want to know my daughter. Nope. So then I'd have to pay a lawyer to come up with all of these, like, so it's like the same thing as going to a sperm clinic by the time I'm done with like the legal fees.
Yeah.
So
it's all just like, yeah, it's you could know somebody, like, you know, a lot of times, like, I feel like lesbian relationships, the girl who has the baby will take the sperm of a family member of the other woman. Like, yeah. So like the baby can have both sides DNA. So it is like, you know, both parts there.
Biologically. Yeah.
Both parts of the family.
We considered that. We considered asking my ex-wife, we considered asking her brother, and I even considered asking my best friend's husband to donate because he's just this, I mean, both of them, they're just incredible men. But then we kept talking about how awkward it would be because we'd obviously see these people all the time and like, do we lie to the children and like just be like, no, you had a random sperm donor? I don't like the whole idea of like lying to kids. So then when we tell them, like, what do they call their Uncle Emerson? Do they call him like Uncle Emerson? No, Daddy Uncle?
I thought about it and it would just be like, no, that they're the uncle, and because they're not raising them and they're a part of their life and they can be involved, but like they aren't their father. And that is where it gets tricky to say they aren't their father. But if later they try and claim rights and you're like, this isn't your kid biologically, but then you have to get lawyers and stuff involved. It's difficult. It's hard.
Yeah. We just have, so long story long, we have to think about it a lot harder than straight couples who are able to have kids.
We're more annoyed with it now.
We're more annoyed with it and more broke because of it.
Yes. All right. Someone asked, what was your favorite way you've seen someone come out?
Oh, I have mine. Do you have yours?
No, I don't have one. Go.
Okay. Well, my sister who came out in high school, like I said, we had very accepting parents, but she was just in the middle of a rebellious phase. And we grew up in a very small town that is like Southern and homophobic and, you know, whatever. So instead of telling my parents that she realized she's gay and now, you know, is going to date women, she decided to go to the local newspaper. What? Have them write a special about her. What? They did a feature on her about like gay teens in the town we grew up in. And so that is how it was announced to my parents and grandparents and everyone, is my mom picked up the newspaper from outside the door and opened it up and bam, there was my sister's face.
Why is your sister the most extra person on the fucking planet?
I love it.
That is the best thing no, there's no chance. I love it.
Yeah. It was good.
I've either known people and they were already gay or they didn't really tell me much. Like, I haven't really seen, the only person I feel who has come out to me is JoJo.
Oh, right.
I haven't had people like come out to me, and I also haven't like witnessed it happening around me. I mean, like,
what about Sammy?
Oh yeah, I was about to say Sammy came out to me. We just talked on the phone, and it was the annoying part with that is that was I already realized I was gay, but I wasn't telling anyone yet. Oh. And so she came out to me, and my whole brain was just overwhelmed with the thought of me like, oh, I want to tell her so bad. But
me too.
Yeah, I just really like, I wanted to have like, but it was her experience. Like, she needed to have her moment, but mine was clouded by my own thing. And I feel bad about it, but like, you know, I was very supportive and like, oh girl, I love it. Fuck yeah. Like,
right.
How'd she realize?
She didn't know in the moment.
Yeah. I was like, you know, she doesn't know what was going on in my head, but I so badly wanted to be like, fuck, samesies.
Same.
JoJo came out to me though, because I came out to her, and then because we hadn't seen each other for a year because of COVID, and we went to hang out in her backyard, and it was right after I had broken up with my ex, and I started telling my family that I was gay. And I went over to her place and sat down, and JoJo and I have a relationship where we won't talk for 6 months, and then we talk again. We're best friends. We hang out every day for another 6 months, and then we don't talk for 6 months, and there's no bad blood. She gets busy, I get busy, blah, blah, blah. It's not a big deal.
That's how the best friendships are.
Yeah, it's because neither of us are insecure in the friendship, so we don't feel the need to like, hey, are you mad at me? Hey, I haven't heard from you. Do you remember me? I'm like, bitch, I know you remember me. Fuck. I know you love me. So we went and met up in her backyard, and we sat down, and we were both nervous. I could tell we were both nervous. And we sat down. She's like, what's new? And I was like, well, I broke up with my ex and I'm dating women now. And she goes, same. And then we just started screaming and running around in circles. And that's how we got to each other.
She didn't have like in JoJo fashion, like a backdrop that dropped down, and it's just this full band playing a Pride song.
I was the first person outside of her family that she told. And so she wasn't really like, before I came over, apparently her parents were like, are you going to tell her? And she's like, I don't know if it seems right. And I gave her the opportunity, to do what I wish I had done with Sammy, which would have been same, because it was more fun. Right. But
that's something else that's a downside to being gay, is like you can't just like tell people randomly like, oh, I'm dating women, or like, oh, I met this girl. They're going to be like, what, you're gay? Like it has to be announced.
Yes.
Like, and I don't want my kids to go through that. So like I'm going to constantly tell my kids, like, it doesn't matter who you date. Like just make sure you date someone that like is kind and that you like and are compatible with, and blah blah blah, but like don't feel like you need to announce to me that you're gay.
That's how I felt with the internet. I was like, well, fuck, now I got to tell the internet. I wasn't scared of hate. I wasn't scared of any repercussions or whatever. I was genuine, like, I just like don't want it to be a thing, because I don't think it should have to be a thing. And so
it shouldn't
and so I said in a vlog, Joy's watching my dogs because I'm going to take my girlfriend to Joshua Tree for Valentine's Day. And that I didn't know that. They didn't know. I had announced that I was single like a month and a half prior. And then I hadn't said I was dating anyone. I hadn't said I was gay. And so I was just like, this happened. And then I just started vlogging as if I had not said anything. And then Twitter, my sister was like, girl, you got to tell Twitter, because they're all fighting with each other, being like, she could have meant like friend. You don't know. Don't out her. Don't out her. Don't assume things. Being really, really kind and sweet, trying to defend me, because they're like, we don't have all the info. And so I was like, fuck. So I just, I tweeted a little thing to like imply yes. And then that was it. And then I was just like slowly. And I think that's why I still on my TikToks go, wait, she's dating a girl? I missed a chapter. And it's because I didn't do a grand coming out. I just continued to post my life as I do.
Right.
I just have the most gorgeous woman on the planet next to me in the photos now.
Right.
So.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. Yeah, coming out was, I think, the weirdest for me with the internet.
Did you ever tell your ex before you broke up with him, like, I'm gay?
That's how I broke up with him.
I didn't. I was such a puss.
Have I told this story on the internet?
I don't know.
I don't think I have.
Okay, do it.
I had wanted to. I'd wanted to break up with him for like years, and every time I did, he gaslit me and was super toxic. And there was one time where I said, I want to break up, and he said no. And I was like,
vibes.
What? Get out of my house. And then
get out.
He's like, do you want me to just leave? I was like, yes, please. I said, yeah. And he was like, fine, I'll go pack a bag. And then he started packing, and he came back and was like, listen, you don't want this. I was like, I think I do. No, I do. And then he's like, listen, we're just going to go eat dinner. It's fine. And I was like, I got to go. He just didn't leave. And that was almost a full year before I actually kicked him out, broke up with him. Because I was like, okay, I tried.
Right.
I genuinely said, I want to break up. I want you to leave. I want you out of my house. And he just literally said no with a little heart next to it. And
I was like, you're PMSing.
Yeah. It was just like, listen, if you change everything about you, this relationship will work. And I was like, I'm good. I don't want to. I don't know what to do. And so from then on out, every day, like I called my best friend. I was like, I got to break up. I tried. And she was like, okay, you get points for trying. She was like, because like,
that's a star chart for you.
Yeah. So it was like a year leading up to that moment. And then I did it, and he said no. I was like, fuck. And so, so for the next year, he avoided me. He did not, like, we were just roommates, and they were roommates.
I didn't want to say it.
I know. We didn't speak to each other. Like, he would still get mad at me. I got the silent treatment a lot, and I never knew why. And I was just like, okay, okay. And like, I just didn't know what to do with it. And then I was like, I realized I was gay. And then I was like, okay, I actually have to end this. Like, actually have to end it. Like, we are just, and he sent me an email. I can't believe I'm telling this story on the internet. He sent me an email that asked me to
go ahead. You're too deep in it now.
Okay, so I for a year wanted to break up with him, genuinely said the words. Then for the next year, every day I called my best friend and I was like, I gotta do it. Finally, like 10 months to 8 months later, realized I was gay. And within 1 month, I finally broke up with him. We literally never spoke to each other. We were living in the same house and not speaking to each other for a full year because he was just avoiding me because he knew I didn't want to be with him, but he didn't want to leave.
Right.
So finally, I was mowing the lawn and I get a text from him saying, I sent you an email. Respond when you feel, no rush, respond when you want to.
Hope you're having a great week.
Thanks for making all the
best
money.
regards.
Thanks for making all the money and buying everything and doing all the housework and everything. And I do nothing. So
what did the email say?
It was a proposal for me to buy him a bed for his office so we didn't have to sleep in the same room anymore. And I was like, he can't think this is a relationship. This is over. I'm done. It's over. It's over.
Mm-hmm. I'm in shock. I have no words. Okay, how did you respond? This gotta be good.
So I was like, this is it. This is like, I'm not buying him a bed. I need him to leave my house. So
right.
I went in the backyard. I cried a little bit because I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it. I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. No one in my family knew what was going on because I didn't want anyone to stress or whatever. Or, I didn't want like the little like squawkers in the back of my head telling me to do something.
Yeah.
The only person that knew anything was my friend Kelly, but she had no idea this moment was happening.
Right.
So I took a deep breath. I walked into his office and I just said, I was crying. And he goes, what?
Ew.
I said, I'm gay. And he screamed and started tearing things apart.
That's so hot. Definitely gonna stay with you now, baby.
And then we talked for hours and he tried to convince me to not, break up with him. And I was like, this hasn't been a relationship in years. And he's like, so? Like, he knew it was over. He knew we weren't in a relationship. He was like, well, what if I do all these? And he named all the things I had been begging him to do, but he acted like he didn't understand. And he proved in that day and like that whole scenario that he knew exactly what I wanted, what I needed, what would have made him a better boyfriend, a better person, and all these things. And I was like, he's like, I will do all those things. And I was like, you gaslit me. Like the crazy gaslit the fuck out of me saying none of those were real. I was making it up. All of these things, like he knew clear as day what he was doing. He was a manipulative son of a bitch. And I was just like, no, it's over. And I gave him a little while to move out and he did. And then that was it. I haven't heard from him
since.
Except when he was I found out he was still using my credit card to buy things.
I remember that. Jesus.
And still never said anything. I canceled the card. He still never said anything.
He knows his place.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more of the story, but I'm not going to get into details. But that was the gist of it.
My God. Beautiful.
Maybe that's my favorite coming out story.
Yes. I'm gay. Get out.
I came to that's literally what I said. Because I didn't break up with him because I was gay. I broke up with him because he was a piece of shit. And the relationship had been over for years. And so
it was just the last little piece that you needed.
It was like, because for so long I was like, okay, this is my relationship. I can just deal with this. But then I was like, I'm gay. I have my whole life ahead of me. Okay. Yeah. It's time to end it. So it was like the motivation. But that was, yeah.
Wow.
I came out to my best friend by calling her, because I'd called her every single day to be like, I'm going to break up with him today. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And one day I called and she goes, how we doing? And I was like, I think I'm gay. She goes, okay. And what are we going to do with this?
That is the best response someone can have. What are we going to do about this discovery?
Because for her, she was like, yeah, you got to finally break up with him now.
Right. Oh my God.
Nope.
Yeah, that I feel so privileged all the time because I know people, like, honestly, the majority of people have the hardest time coming out to their family and friends and then have like very traumatic experiences linked to that coming out. Yeah. But yeah, I had been dating this guy on and off for a few years, and like everyone in my life thought he was endgame. Like, we thought we were getting married, like we thought we were having kids, like we had planned our entire lives out together, and everyone knew like this was it for me. And so then when I kissed that, okay, listen, I'm not a cheater, but he said kissing girls didn't count. That's on him. So we were still dating, and I like threw this dorm party because what else are you going to do in college? And this very, very, very attractive, well-known lesbian came to the party, and I kind of had my eye on her all night. And I remember whispering to my friend, I was like, do not let me near her because like, and again, like I still hadn't realized I was gay. Yeah. I had a feeling, but I was like, don't let me near her because like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like control myself. Like, you know, I have this big crush on her. I don't know, like, I don't want to cheat, you know, basically. Yeah. And then, of course, I ended up drunk and things happened and it clicked immediately. And then my boyfriend came to visit the next day. But I didn't say anything because I was too much of a puss and I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I, like, spent the weekend with him. And like, but was being very standoffish, and he knew something was wrong because when he left, he called me on his drive home and he was like, is something wrong? You're being really weird this weekend. And I basically pulled it's not you, it's me, but didn't say I was gay. I was like, I'm just like not happy and I need my space and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And ended up breaking up and called my mom. And I was just like, hey, so I just broke up with Dylan and like I'm dating this girl now, I think, or like, I don't know. I'm just exploring my options. And instead of my mom being like, oh, you're gay, or like, oh, this is new, she literally was like, tell me about her. Like, didn't skip a beat. She was like, awesome. What's she like? What's she majoring in? And like all of my friends too.
Yeah. That's why when people are like, how do I come out to my parents? How do I come out to people? I'm like, I'm not the person to ask because I didn't come out till I was 29 and I had already surrounded myself with people that love me for me. I didn't hang out with homophobic people, you know, like my family's.
And that's so privileged. And we have to recognize that.
Yes.
Like
and
for us to be in a position where we feel safe like that.
Of where I live and just like the people I surround myself with. Like I don't have any homophobic friends. And I had homophobic friends in the past, and slowly throughout the years weeded them out because I just didn't want to have homophobic friends, even as a quote unquote straight person. And so you know, my friends, no one was going to ditch me. And then my family I am privileged, very privileged to have a very loving and accepting family. And so I don't know, if I had come out when I was like 16, things might've been a little bit different, and they probably would have been different, but I came out when I was 29, so it was, you know, I didn't have to worry about much because I was also in a point where I'm like, if someone wants to leave me because I'm going to date women now, that's on them, and I don't need anybody. I'm fine. I don't need my parents' support. I don't need my family's support, but luckily I have it, so.
Yes, I know. It's so hard giving advice to people that aren't in the same position that we are because it's ultimately like about your own safety. Yeah. So like if you're physically and mentally not going to be safe coming out to friends and family, like you are stuck in such a hard position, and there is no advice I can give other than like prioritize your mental and physical health.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, we're going to end on that very sad note because we've been talking for 53 minutes.
Oh,
we talk a lot.
Wowza. We do.
I know. All right, but that's it. I hope we answered all the gay questions you wanted to ask us. If not, leave us more gay questions and we can do a follow-up episode in a couple months. Down below.
Hell yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, Dougie.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Again, we don't think all women are great and all men are trash. We don't think all gay relationships are perfect and all straight ones suck. We were our own perspective. That is all.
Yes.
Okay. I love you guys a lot. Thank you, Emily, for joining me. Make sure you check out our All Things Internet podcast, and that is every Monday. And then make sure you subscribe to see Rachel Uncensored every other Wednesday. That's it.
Yay.
I love you.
Love you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hi, I just wanted to come on here and say that if you are currently in a situation where you don't feel physically or mentally safe telling your family or caretaker or friends about your gender identity or sexuality, that you are not alone. We see you and we love you. And as cliche as it sounds, it really does get better. You just have to hang on. But if you need someone to talk to in the meantime, you should check out the Trevor Project. The Trevor Project is the leading national organization for providing crisis intervention and suicide prevention services to LGBTQ plus youth, ages 13 to 24. They have crisis counselors who are available to chat 24/7, 365, and it is 100% free and 100% confidential. Their number is 866-488-7386, or you can go to thetrevorproject.org to chat with a crisis counselor online now. That's www.thetrevorproject.org. We love you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Rachel Uncensored, the only place on the internet where you can find the uncensored version of me, Rachel Ballinger. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe, or follow, or do whatever this platform tells you to do so that you can get notified every time I post a new episode. Love ya!